Hello YouTube, this is Dazza the cameraman. Today is Wednesday the 18th of June 2014 and this is a response video to Marshall Masters, and we're going to take a quick look at his latest video, Planet X 101 Proof of Nibiru. Let's have a listen to the first couple of minutes of Marshall's video and then I will respond.
The question I'm hearing more often these days from radio hosts like George Noory of Coast to Coast AM is, Marshall, can you show us proof of Nibiru? And that's a fair question because George has been following our work on the images we've been capturing from a surveillance camera mounted atop the Turrialba volcano in Costa Rica since we released our first video, Object of Interest as Seen from the Turrialba volcano, on February 11th, 2013. The reason why I get these questions is what these hosts are getting in terms of pushback from self-appointed debunkers. So what are the debunkers saying? It's the planet Venus, as shown here in a recent early morning observation. Or that it's a sundog, a scientific term for a bright circular spot or solar halo beside the sun. Then there are the more technical explanations that deal with camera aberrations, such as, it's a reflection caused by a camera lens coating, or it's a lens flare caused by an internal reflection within the lens due to light being scattered by manufacturing inconsistencies in the lens itself. And finally, it's light bouncing off the front of the lens and onto the back of the outdoor camera housing window. So how do these debunkers come up with these scientific sounding explanations? First, foremost, and always, they ignore the evidence and quickly pick up a megaphone. Their goal is not to study the data on its own merits, but rather to shout down whoever is presenting it in any way possible. Few people ever verify the claims made by debunkers, because debunkers know what's really going on for most of you out there, that
you can't handle the truth.
But that's changing, because we're seeing more of you out there becoming good cynics. You're not going to let some jerk with a megaphone stampede you, nor will you buy into any claim or representation that you have not personally verified? Considering that we have captured hundreds of images of Nibiru from the Turrialba feed, we are glad to see you out there because everyone loves a good cynic. That's why in this program we'll debunk the debunkers with a fair examination of their claims for both natural observations and camera aberrations.
Now back in August 2013 I recorded this video interview with Alfred Lambermont Weber, Marshall Masters Planet X Nibiru debunked by New Zealand astronomer. This was recorded by Alfred Lambermont Weber. It was a Skype interview, and in the lead up to my detailed analysis of your video, I contacted you via Facebook and sent you some private messages, including these ones. Dear Mr. Marshall Masters, I've been looking at the images of Planet X in your video, Planet X System Observations and Orbital Analysis, and have also been having discussions with Alfred Lambermont Weber on his 2013 Dual Sun Mystery Facebook page. I'm an amateur astronomer who is on the committee of a local astronomical observatory here in New Zealand. I've been analysing Jorge Urena's images in your video and I have discovered some inconsistencies. I thought you might like to have the opportunity to talk to me directly to see if we can figure out these inconsistencies together and come to some conclusion. Kind regards, David Gregg. Now as we can see, you saw this message in your Facebook private messages, but you chose not to respond in any way. I sent you another message to say, Marshall, I see that you have seen my message, so I know that it didn't go unseen in your other inbox as some messages do. I'm hoping to talk to you further about these images. I will be having a Skype interview with Alfred Lambermont-Weber soon, where we discuss your images, and I would like to give you the opportunity to talk to me about my findings first, if you are willing. Please let me know if you will be available soon. I realize you might be busy at present. David. I sent him another message after that when he didn't respond, which is actually a direct quote of something that Marshall said in one of his videos, where he said, "You know, on our team our motto is believe nothing, observe everything, and leave no stone unturned, and we did that with your images and found something rather surprising." Now that whole statement is a direct quote of Marshall Masters from one of his videos. I've added nothing to that quote. And of course I was applying it back to Marshall to say, yes, we've looked at your images as well and found something rather surprising as well. Again, I had no response. As you can see, the message was seen at 12:45 p.m. on that date, 30th of August 2013. I sent another message later to Marshall. Marshall, have you seen the video response our team made to the 00 Skyview video about Comet ISON and their Kuiper Belt object? I believe it was posted on your wall. Did you see it? We are currently working on a video in response to your video. Once again, I'd like to give you the opportunity to comment on our findings before we post our video. Would you like to talk to me about your images? Kind regards, David Gregg. And once again we see that the message was seen by Marshall Masters at 7:27 p.m. Later I sent another message. This was after my video interview with Alfred Lambermont-Weber, this video here, which you can check out. I'll post a link in the description area of this video. Dear Mr. Marshall Masters, I trust that you have seen Alfred's video. Unfortunately, the resolution of the video is very poor and the images are not very clear. However, I will be uploading an HD summary of my findings. Once again, I would like to extend to you the opportunity to talk to me about my findings, that you may give response, as no doubt you may have a different opinion. Kind regards, David. And yet again we see that the message was seen, but I received no response whatsoever. And I sent this message to Marshall sometime later. Marshall, I can see that you have seen my messages. The fact that you have not replied in any way speaks volumes. Your silence is deafening. I would have liked to have discussed my findings with you, but it seems that you were not able to refute anything I have said, not directly to me at least. Do you not realize that you have debunked your own claims with one of your own images in your video? The image where you show the photo taken at 1829 next to the screenshot from Starry Night Pro shows that the orbs of light are too close to the Sun to be Venus and Jupiter. The angular separation between Venus and Jupiter at that time was approximately 1.25 degrees, and the angular separation between Venus and the Sun was about 15.75 degrees. In this image we can see that the Sun is much too close to what you call Venus and Jupiter. How do you explain this? I would like to hear your explanation. Now here is the image from one of Marshall Masters' videos that I was analyzing, and we can see that Marshall has overlaid this photograph that was taken from an aircraft at 37,000 feet by Jorge Urena. Marshall has overlaid it over Starry Night, where he's showing the position of Jupiter, Venus and Mercury and the Sun. But the problem is, of course, is that this image actually contradicts his claims, because as we can clearly see in this comparison, the side-by-side comparison, in this image the Sun is much closer to what Marshall is labeling as Jupiter and Venus. They are in fact lens flares, or reflections of the Sun, to what we see here in Starry Night, where the Sun is further away. We've got the Sun down here. If this was a match, then this Sun here should be down here, not up here. Now this is caused by the fact that this was filmed through the window of an aircraft, and as we all know, aircraft windows are at least double, I think triple layer, and this is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing a reflection of the bright Sun in the double or triple layer window. This is not Jupiter and Venus, it's actually a reflection of the Sun. So I sent these messages to Marshall requesting his response, and I didn't even receive a single acknowledgement. Once again, we can see that my message was seen. He has seen all of my messages, and I haven't had a single response from Marshall Masters, not even a kiss my butt from Marshall Masters. But if we go back to Marshall's video.
So how do these debunkers come up with these scientific sounding explanations? First, foremost, and always, they ignore the evidence and quickly pick up a megaphone. Their goal is not to study the data on its own merits, but rather to shout down whoever is presenting it in any way possible.
And this from the man who, under all of his videos on his YouTube channel, when we scroll down, what do we find? Comments are disabled for this video. There is no dialogue with Marshall Masters. There is no comeback on anything that he says. He will say what he likes in a video and nobody can challenge him because he does not allow discussion. He has refused to respond to me in any way. He has refused to answer my messages or to even acknowledge them. And he has been invited to speak, to respond to me on the radio show by Michael Vara, Late Night in the Midlands, and also by Alfred Lambermont Weber's shows. However, Marshall Masters refuses to respond to me in any way. His silence is deafening. Marshall Masters, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you to respond to me one-to-one in a radio show that can be hosted by somebody like Michael Vara or Alfred Lambermont Weber or Coast to Coast or somebody else. As long as it's a fair forum where people are allowed to speak, I undertake to be respectful and polite and not to talk over you, to hear you out and to respond. I will have questions for you, and I expect you to respond to my questions as well. It's time to end the silence, Marshall. It's time for you to step up and respond. This is Dazza the cameraman. Today is Wednesday the 18th of June 2014, and I look forward to a response from Marshall Masters. Thank you for watching.